today's episode of Pop Therapy TV. Today I'm here to talk to you all about stress. That's right, you heard me, stress. Why would I do that, you ask? Often stress is perceived as a bad thing or a negative thing, but today I'm here to talk about the role that stress can have as a useful thing and how we can get better at handling stress when we feel that it's beyond our coping resources and we're headed to burnout town. Then I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite tips for getting better at handling stress if you're finding that stress is getting on top of you. So firstly, as I mentioned, a little bit of stress can actually be a positive thing. We actually need a little bit of stress to get us going. Imagine those kind of feelings you get on a Monday morning, not motivated, not ready to start the day. So we need a bit of stress to give us energy to help us perform. When we perform at our best, our stress levels have actually increased to a range where we feel that we're energetic, we're in the zone, we're ready to perform. But sometimes our stress levels move beyond that zone of performance and we start to feel a little bit burnt out. Now, often this happens when we perceive that our coping resources are unable to meet the challenge of the stressor at hand. So, how can we get better at managing stress? Today I'm going to share with you 3 quick tips that you can use if you feel like your stress levels are increasing. Tip number 1. Slow your breathing down. I know it sounds like a simple thing, but I cannot say this enough. Slowing our breathing down is actually our body's own natural calming mechanism that we can draw upon when we're feeling stressed or anxious. When we slow our breathing down, our body's fight or flight response calms down, we think more clearly, and we can make better decisions. I'm sure many of you have heard of the fight or flight response, but basically when our mind perceives a threat, whether that threat is a tiger chasing us in the jungle or whether it's preparing for a big meeting or having a deadline to meet, our mind perceives the threat in the exact same way. Even though there's no physical danger with attending a meeting or preparing some paperwork, our body still responds in the same way. So when our fight or flight response is activated, lots of changes happen within our body. Firstly, our heart rate starts to beat a little bit faster. Our breathing becomes faster. Our muscles tense up, so we're prepared to flee or to fight. Our digestion slows. All kinds of things are happening in our body when we're responding to a threat. So in order to calm that fight or flight response down and to help us handle the situation in a better way, slowing our breathing down is a fantastic tool. So what's a really simple way you can do this? All you need to do is for 1 minute, slow your breathing down. So step number 1, grab a timer. It could be your phone or it could be a watch with a second hand. And all you need to do is breathe in for 3 seconds, out for 3 seconds. And do that for 1 minute. So that's 10 breaths, 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. By the end of the minute, I guarantee that you'll probably feel much calmer and much more able to tackle the challenge in front of you. So give it a go, try it out, see if it works for you. Great tool to help us calm down and better handle stress. Okay, tip number 2, take a different perspective. Often in the moment when we're feeling really stressed or overwhelmed, our thinking changes and might become a little bit unhelpful or sometimes even a little bit less balanced. For example, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm running late for a work meeting or an appointment, I tell myself that it feels like the end of the world and that it's going to be awful and my day's going to be ruined. But often what happens in those moments is we might start to catastrophize or imagine the worst case scenario. Sometimes asking ourselves a few questions to take a bit of perspective and to step back can really help. Useful questions you can ask to take a bigger perspective are, how might someone else see this situation? Another question you could ask yourself is, if a friend of mine was in this situation, what advice would I give them about how to deal with this and how to handle it? This is a question I find really helps me personally, asking, will I still be thinking about this in 6 months' time? If not, then it's probably not worth expending that much energy over. Really useful tip. Tip number 3 for managing stress. So, another useful approach for managing stress is making sure that we're alternating between high performance and recovery. And basically what that means in plain English is that we need to take regular breaks and look after our health when we're dealing with a lot of stress. Life can be challenging at times, and often we have lots of different pressures and deadlines and things going on in our lives. The only way we can continue to perform at our best is to take regular breaks and recover. Think of athletes. They're really good at doing this. They don't just train 24/7. They don't run at their race pace every time they train. They take breaks, they rest, they recover. They alternate between high performance and recovery. We also need to apply this to the day-to-day world. So when we're busy, when we're under the pump, it's more important than ever to take lunch breaks, to get to bed on time, to make sure that we're exercising and looking after ourselves. By taking breaks, giving ourselves time to mentally refresh, we're much more likely to be able to perform at our best, to think more clearly, and to cope with the stress at hand. So taking regular breaks, super important. So, today we talked about stress, and I shared with you 3 of my favorite tips for managing stress. Slowing your breathing down, really important. Taking a bigger perspective, asking yourself, will this matter in 6 months from now? And the importance of taking regular breaks and taking care of yourself so you can sustain being able to deal with stress and pressure. Thank you so much for listening. That was today's episode of Pop Therapy TV. See you next time. Bye.